There we go. Welcome, everybody. Well, let's try that again. Take two. Welcome, everybody. I'm JD along with my cohort here, Gail, and we're part of the Gail Force. Matter of fact, we are Gail Force. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
Episode 2042 or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. You can catch us on YouTube under Gale Force Creations. You can catch us on BitTube under Gale Force. We're also on Facebook under Every Bit Matters. Just do a search for Every Bit Matters. I think there's two of us. We're the good ones. Okay, you'll find us.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of talking. I mean, because
Didn't you get us on Steam It?
Oh yeah, we're on Steam It too. Haven't put much on Steam It, but we'll be on Steam It under Every Bit Matters. We cover a lot of stuff. We're into the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, but we also do current news, and we give you a new perspective. Again, we don't tell you what to think like the colleges do and the news media. We tell you how to think. Think for yourself, and we give you new perspectives. And tonight we have a great show. Oh, what are you putting up there? Is that silver?
Yes, my good man, it is.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a 1956 brilliant uncirculated Franklin $50.
Fantastic. Franklin. He made what, stoves or something, didn't he? Just a couple years ago or something. I'm not up on that history stuff.
What I like about Benjamin Franklin, he was a lot of things, but when he got off of work, he's just like us.
Hey, yeah,
love the ladies.
He did
love the ladies and have some libations.
Yeah, didn't he say that wine is proof that God loves us? Even though a lot of people say that they change it to beer. Beer is proof that God loves us. Yeah. Okay, welcome to the show, everybody. Again, we're Gale Force. I'm JD. This is Gail, and we do a lot of talking here, and we like to have a lot of fun, and we like to. Well, we don't like to piss people off, but we just have that ability to piss people off because we give them a new perspective on the news. And tonight,
if you're pissed off, think about it. Or maybe we're just challenging your mind.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you see me kind of glancing to the side here, I'm not in the studio. We're not in the BIG studio. I'm doing a remote here from my house, and we're here in Central Florida, and it's freezing outside. I got to do this outside because I live with two women. So, to make sure that you can hear us and see us, I do the show from the outside, and right now I'm really kind of cold. So
you're talking fast.
Yeah, that's why I got my jacket on. So tonight we have a new perspective on some happenings here. Matter of fact, I'm kind of wondering where this global warming is. I mean, we could really use some global warming right now because, again, I'm in Central Florida and I got a jacket on and I'm freezing. So where the hell is the global warming? And we've always heard that if you're not, I'm not saying you're not against global warming, but you're saying that man really has no effect on global warming. It's not the cars causing the earth to warm up or whatever. You're called a denier, a climate denier, right? Right? I just want
to. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a second. I just want to let everybody know that if you don't believe that man is causing global warming, you're called a science denier, a climate denier. Okay? Well, even though there's not any real clear science on this global warming, you're still called a climate denier. Well, we have another perspective because a lot of these people that are into climate denying and they shame you because they say that you don't believe man is causing global warming. Well, we've had a 20-year experiment, all right, 20 years with numbers and facts and statistics and deaths. And this experiment is in Democratic Socialism. So if you believe in Democratic Socialism, we can prove that you're an economic denier because Democratic Socialism does not work. Wait a second. No, actually, it does work. It does it makes everybody equal. It makes everybody equally miserable and poor and hungry. Am I correct, Gail? Is that what happens?
Absolutely. It makes everybody equal. They're all debt slaves. and it makes the elite, hey, it's serfdom.
It's and if you
The lords and vassals.
yeah, and so you're really, if you really into democratic socialism, if you think we should have Medicare for all and health care for all and free college and all that crap that goes with democratic socialism, we have a 20-year experiment with numbers, with deaths, with 3 million people trying to get the hell out of democratic socialism. We have the army shooting at their own citizens because of democratic socialism. So if you believe in democratic socialism and you think it works, you're an economic denier. You have no idea how economics works, and that's why we're here, to not tell you how to think, but to teach you how to think. And you can see it right there. It's right in front of your eyes. So Gail, take it away. What the hell is going on in that beautiful country where the people have voted to commit suicide? Tell us a little bit about Venezuela.
Okay, there's not just one country. Everybody's got to remember, France is doing the same thing. There are hundreds of people that have been wounded and several killed by the French government over their democratic socialist experiment. But the biggest one is Venezuela.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. The current dictator, Maduro, it's so bad that...
just to be Johnny Carson, how bad is it?
Well, it's so bad that if you take and have a backpack full of money, you would have to take, their currency is called the bolivar. And it would take like 1 million bolivar to buy a loaf of bread.
A loaf of bread?
A loaf of bread.
Like a Merita loaf of bread?
Merita Wonder Bread, loaf of bread.
I thought I'd throw
That's
that.
how far.
I thought I'd throw that in there because you used to work for Merita, didn't you?
I used to work for Merita and Wonder Bread and Hostess with the Hostess Twinkies and all that stuff. And I don't think Twinkies will last past the apocalypse, but yeah, they got enough preservatives to last a long time.
I'm sure you got some stashed away for the apocalypse, don't you?
Oh yeah. They're in my SHTF kit for the apocalypse. You bet.
So
right along with freeze dried coffee and food.
Okay, so I guess what happened is, like, last year they had an election and Maduro, is that his name? Was
Nicolas Maduro was
reelected, but they say that the Russians went in there. He colluded with the Russians and the Cubans, and it caused him to win the election, even though there are some inconsistencies. But most of the countries now are recognizing the new guy, the guy that's running against him. Guaido. Okay, so what's news on him?
He used to be in the assembly of the government, and he was an opposition leader. And Maduro, he went along. What was the guy before him?
Chavez.
Hugo Chavez. Well, you see, Venezuela. I wrote down some facts, by the way.
Let's do it.
They have over 302 billion barrels of reserves.
Of scotch?
Where Saudi Arabia only has 270 billion barrels of reserves.
We'll talk about scotch.
This all goes back to their socialism was based on, because they were such a rich oil country, that the money coming into the country they took from selling the oil and gave it to the people. Well, there was kind of a contest between corporate bigwigs like Exxon and all of the rest of them, and they took and nationalized their oil industry, and
Excuse me.
because they thought that corporations were taking all the money from the people. Well, they cut off all the money, so the people were starving, and the oil that they kept pumping is sold to the United States.
Yep.
United States wouldn't give them the money. The Bank of England had $1.4 billion in gold.
Holy moly.
And they won't give it to Venezuela. They said, well, why do you need it? Are you the legitimate government? I mean, they're elected officials by their constitution. Now, I mean, you and I have a bad taste in our mouth about socialism. But if you go by the constitution of a country and by the laws of a country, well, Germany, Italy, and France, they're worse than Venezuela when it comes to being by the Constitution than what Venezuela is.
Yeah.
The problem is Venezuela is trying to stick a thumb in the eye of the banks.
Ouch.
The socialism of Europe, what they're doing, and we're going to see this as time goes along, the big banks are loaning the governments more money to put them deeper in debt. Venezuela, with Maduro and Hugo Chavez, said, oh, no, you're not going to own the whole country and tell us what to do. Where most of the countries of Europe have said, oh, yeah, please, let me beat me and call me Susan.
Hey, watch it.
So anyway, this is a bad situation. I don't like it. I don't agree with socialism, just like JD doesn't agree with socialism, because sooner or later you run out of other people's money. And the experiment has never worked. Everybody wants to point to Sweden. They want to point to Denmark. They're also crumbling because of the socialism in their country.
Yeah, they're actually moving away from socialism in Norway and Sweden. They actually privatized a lot of their public companies. So
yes.
Yeah.
Because migrants, the infiltration and the migrants trying to come there for a free meal is overwhelming the system. You know, it's part of that old thing what was called, what was Hillary's thing about that guy, about the rules for radicals?
Oh, yeah, Saul Alinsky.
Saul Alinsky. You see, Saul Alinsky, if you go along with Saul Alinsky, you find the weaknesses in every form of government. Because if you overwhelm a system, you find out what the weaknesses are.
Correct.
And I just got a light bulb flash this afternoon, and I didn't even discuss it before we started recording. JD, I am a fan of movies. Do you remember the good old Clint Eastwood movie called A Fistful of Dollars?
Oh, heck yeah.
Where he goes into a town, and he plays this family at this end of town against that family at that end of town,
yep.
And he makes money off both ends of town.
Yep.
That's what the banks and the bankers and the corporate people are doing to what democracy,
yep.
to republics, to socialism.
Mm-hmm.
They're dividing us, and they're stealing the money out of everybody's pocket, whether you're democracy, a republic, or socialist. The bankers are Clint Eastwood playing everybody
against everybody
and making money off everybody.
And that's
playing both sides against each other. And if everybody kills each other, the bankers are sitting there and they've got all the money.
Yeah, that's how they do the wars, like World War I and World War II. They played both sides, so no matter who won, they come out a winner.
Oh, Oh no.
because
You have to remember that
the loser still owes them, and they're still making money off the winners.
if you take and put both countries in debt and arm both countries, the winner and the loser both owe you
Yeah,
the debt plus interest.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So how is that different from Clint Eastwood in the movie A Fistful of Dollars?
yeah. Good point. I like that,
We,
man.
we are being played, the bankers and the corporate bigwigs, like from Berkshire Hathaway and all the rest of those people at Davos and all the rest of it. We are the peons, and they're putting whites against blacks,
Yep.
straights against gays,
You know,
everybody against everybody. And while they're fighting, they're emptying everybody's pockets.
exactly. And that reminds me, we need to do a show on the Fed, on the creation of the Fed. There was a great book called the Island of Jekyll and Hyde. Was that it?
No. It's by G. Edward Griffin. It's called the Creature from Jekyll Island.
That's it. The Creature from Jekyll Island. Yeah. So we'll do a show on the creation of Fed, because you won't believe it. You would think this was a Democratic idea to make a central bank, but it really was a Republican idea, and you will not believe how they got this passed, how they got the Fed passed. The Fed, the founders did not want a central bank. The founders, wanted people to be free and voluntary exchange between people. And they did not want a central bank.
To donate voluntarily, they didn't want taxation.
Yeah, everything was pretty much done off tariffs. Well, the Republicans got together with the big bankers, the Rothschilds and all those other guys, and they formed the Fed, and they called it the Federal Reserve System, because everybody was afraid of the banks at the time. So we'll do a show on the Fed, but that's not what we're talking about. We'll talk about democratic socialism, because if you believe in democratic socialism, then you're an economic denier. That's my new code now. I'm gonna, anytime somebody says I'm a climate denier, I'm just gonna turn around and say, well, do you think that healthcare is right? And do you think that everybody, should pay for everybody? We should have some kind of democratic socialism? I'm going to call you an economic denier, because after a 20-year experiment right here in front of your eyes in Venezuela, just right around the, down south of us here, where it's not quite as cold as it is here in Central Florida, you're an economic denier if you believe in democratic socialism, because democratic socialism means that the people have voted to commit suicide. That's what it is.
And Argentina and Brazil have had their currency collapse 3 times in the last 30 years. But because they're not socialist and they go along with the banks, they keep coming back.
Well, folks,
and when we go to do this thing about the Fed, and the reasons why, I'm going to blow your mind.
All right. Well, let's put that show together. Again, we're just doing a quick update in the middle of the week here. We normally do a full show every Sunday. There's a new episode every Sunday, but we decided to get together a couple times during the week now and produce just, if something in the news comes up, we'll be right on it and talk about it. And the Venezuela thing has come up because now Trump has put sanctions against Venezuela, trying to squeeze them a little bit. John Bolton was in the news because he had a notepad that said there's 5,000 troops that they're thinking about sending to
Colombia.
Is it Colombia? Colombia, yeah. And
that's where Chavez sent a bunch of tanks and personnel carriers Sunday to the border.
Yeah.
To be ready for any kind of mercenaries or insurgents coming across the border.
Yeah. So we just thought we'd give you some news on democratic socialism and how the great experiment worked in Venezuela. And things are getting bad down there. The army is out there actually killing their own citizens. So you got to really love democratic socialism if your army turns on you. Of course, the people that are for democratic socialism will blame it on capitalists. They'll say these are the capitalists trying to change their country back to capitalism, and that's why the army's shooting them, because they're the bad guys, but they're actually shooting their own citizens, the people that are starving, they're hungry, they're eating pets, and
the reason they're shooting citizens because under democratic socialism, citizens can't own guns, so you can't fight back.
Yeah, so they're throwing stones. It's they asked Einstein what World War III would be fought with. He says, I don't know, but World War IV would be fought with stones.
Correct.
Yeah. So, again, thank you for joining us. This is Gail Force. I'm JD. I'm the cute one. He's the smart one. The guy over there, that's Gail. He's the smart one. You can tell because he wears glasses. Okay. And we appreciate you watching our show. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you just kind of click right down there somewhere over here, subscribe to our channel.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate it. You can find us on YouTube under Gail Force Creations. We'd like any comments, especially if you're into democratic socialism. We're not asking you to defend your side, but just give us an idea of why Venezuela screwed up, because they actually tried democratic socialism. And you can check us out on BitTube under Gail Force. Steam It. If you haven't heard of Steam It, it's like the new Facebook where you can write anything you want and they don't really block you. It's pretty good. And we're on Facebook until they knock us off under Every Bit Matters. So again, join us every Sunday for a new episode of Gail Force. We give you the view, the news from our point of view, and we have a good time doing it. Like I said, I'm freezing here. I'm having a beer and a cigar. And again, we appreciate all your comments. And again, subscribe to our channel. We really would like that. And maybe one day we'll pay you back. And we'll take donations. I mean, we're into Bitcoin. We do a lot of crypto stuff. So if you look down here in the description, you can check out all the places where you can find our video. You can comment to us, and you could donate a little bit if you want to.
Absolutely.
You can't donate donuts, but we'll take some Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever you can throw our way. So, Gail.
If it's not listed, tell us, and we'll post the address to that.
There you go. Oh, we're also going to be pushing cannabis. Oh, we're the new pushers.
No, not cannabis.
Oh, no.
Cannabis oil products.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to try to put that in the description too. Shh, don't tell YouTube. But yeah, we're into hemp products. I'm trying a couple of them right now, a little cream and some oil. So
CBD. Yeah. It's legal.
Yeah, it's
cannabis legal. Is questionable. CBD is legal.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up. Just a quick question. I've always wondered why it took a constitutional amendment to ban alcohol, but not marijuana. So, any thoughts on that?
That was under the interstate.
We'll do a show on that. Yeah. Well, how come they weren't smart enough to know that before they passed a constitutional amendment? Those damn idiots back then, I tell you. Okay, thanks for watching the show. Well, that'll be another show. Just hang in there, Gail. Write that down. Okay. Write that on your note. Write it down on your notepad there. You keep telling me to write notes. Write it on your notepad.
All right.
Oh, wrong way. That way. That guy there. He tells me how to do things, and I don't listen. Have fun.
Hey, we love you as an audience, okay?
Take it easy, everybody, and we'll catch you out Sunday. Bye-bye.